Luca, please. You're ruining my research.
I didn't ruin anything.
Okay. Hi guys. Thanks for staying and coming and all that. Let's get into it. So if you're interested in presenting, make sure to fill out the form. The new form will be coming out momentarily, probably today. So that'll open up. There's lots of spots for spring semester. I don't have a ton yet scheduled for industry presenters. There will be stuff coming in soon though. So once that's up, I'll put an announcement out and let you know. As always, the blog is always up. If you're interested in making a blog post, fill out the form here, and we can work something out. You can get some points, win some prizes. And make sure to sign in if you haven't already. I'm sure you've already all signed in. Of course, join the Discord. Again, I'm sure you're all in that. And make sure to check out the calendar, calendar.ritsec.club, to see all of our events, as well as join the mailing list to get the weekly newsletter. Make sure to follow our social medias. And of course, please clap it up for the sponsors. Thank you. All right, to get into some announcements. So this wasn't mentioned in Adam, but in Adam's section, but I literally just sent out the announcement earlier. But next week, during the general meeting, that we will have the Bug Crowd Hardware Hackalong, which will be a event with Bug Crowd, replacing the entire general meeting, where we'll have hardware hacking. There'll be reverse engineering, working in a group, stuff like that. So it'll be a really cool hands-on event. So if you're interested, fill out this form. Yes, Leah. No, you do not. If you have no experience, that's fine. You can come and learn about hardware hacking. Yes, Garrett?
Will there still be pizza?
Yes, there will be pizza. I pray and hope.
There's limited spots.
Yes, limited spots, by the way. So fill it out. Yes, Leah?
Is there a really cool student helping out, leading it?
Yes, Casey will be helping out as a coach. Thank you, Casey.
Let's go, Casey!
All right, moving on. Oh, yeah, so also I should mention, November 14th, next Friday, it's replacing the general meeting. There will also be a follow-up meeting on the 24th, which that'll be in the form as well to fill out, and that will go into more of the software, like reversing side of it. So anyone can do that portion. There's no hardware for that, so you can just show up. It's the Monday before Thanksgiving break. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Discord. Yeah, so ISTS Black Team signups have dropped. If you're interested, fill this out. ISTS will be coming up, sooner than you expect. So if you're interested, make sure to fill this out. Get on a team. WESIS, last call for challenge authors. If you're interested in being a challenge author for the CTF CADE, fill that out. Challenges are due 11/10 at midnight. That's very soon. Junior Tech Lead application. If you're interested in becoming the tech lead in the future, make sure to fill this out, and you'll work with the tech lead to help make the weekly demos. As well as OT Security, we'll have a guest talk by Christopher Cotter, Director of OT Security at Avangrid. So that's Air Gap, November 18th, 5 to 6 p.m. Make sure to pull up if you're interested. Now to get into some of the news, I'm going to be talking a bit about AI browser exploits with OpenAI's like Atlas browser and some of the other AI browsers, as well as Glassworm, which is a VS Code extension supply chain attack that recently dropped. So to get into it, AI browsers are like kind of becoming a thing. If you don't know anything about them, they're kind of just like shove ChatGPT everywhere in your browser, and it can do things for you, ask it questions, it can like navigate a bunch of stuff like that. And so some researchers recently have like discovered that because of how these browsers work, you can essentially like inject commands to the LLMs, but it's essentially like CSRF, like cross-site like forging, and that lets you sort of just like dump like commands through like hidden text or whatever. And some examples they gave were like Reddit, if you like spoiler a message and then the LLM were to like read through the page, you can essentially like inject prompts into the large language model, which can then access stuff like your whatever, like personal information through emails and stuff like that. So it's not like something that's actually been exploited. I don't think researchers didn't really mention that, but they have found like multiple of these exploits do work against some of these AI browsers. And here's like a little bit of a layout that they described, where essentially like you'll go to like a compromised web page, and then it'll essentially like piggyback off the AI and like inject a prompt, and then because of how like the persistent memory works, that can be stored to like the LLM's memory, and it will continue to have like those malicious prompts. So it's a bit of an interesting thing that was kind of talked about recently, or like a few months ago when we had the other bug crowd presenter talking about LLM hacking. So it's kind of cool to see it actually like coming into fruition. Next up, Glassworm. This is a VS Code supply chain attack discovered by Koi Security. It's a worm essentially that was just like put out through some extensions. There's a variety of extensions. I'll go into some more of the details, but essentially it's just like a, I don't know, like I wouldn't say basic, but it's a worm, and it uses some like kind of crazy things. It uses like a blockchain and also Google Calendar for C2. So like here's like a one of the blockchain like wallet requests or whatever, a transaction, and essentially it uses like encoding like in the memos to reference like the C2 server itself. And here's also the Google Calendar, which is kind of crazy. I don't know who the heck comes up with Google Calendar for like C2 persistence, but they use like I don't know some kind of crazy stuff like that. Like let me actually like hold on. If I like go back real quick, if we pull up CyberChef and actually just like look at the name of this event, like we can just go in here and see. Like there you go, leads to an IP address and whatever where they're fetching their payload from. So it's kind of crazy persistence that they're using through that. If you go to the event right now, it's like gone, but it is like kind of smart to use these things for C2 persistence because like with these blockchain transactions, like you can't exactly just like get rid of them because I don't know a ton about how blockchain works, but they're kind of just like persistent, which is kind of crazy how someone came up with stuff like that. Some other things, here's like one of the like a JavaScript for some of the extensions, and they use like I've seen like this trick used before, but essentially using like Unicode characters to try and obscure the source code by like literally just physically hiding stuff like really far down. You can see there's actually like malicious code or whatever. I mean, it's not malicious, but whatever the malicious code is like sort of obscured by doing stuff like that. This is like some of the effects quoted by the researchers. They said essentially harvest npm, GitHub credentials, stuff like that. Deploy like proxy servers, installed stuff. Essentially, it's kind of just another like wallet grabber. Also, I don't think this would really affect pretty much anyone here because if you take a look, this is one of the extensions that was affected in VS Code. So as long as you're not like installing random sketchy extensions on VS Code, you're fine. But it still is interesting that this stuff can sort of spread through official avenues in something like VS Code extensions. There's my sources. And now, without further ado, to get into the presentations, first up we have John Godman with Zero Trust Architectures.